ready, RJ. Yeah. Podcast number 4. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Me and Coach RJ, we're here to answer some questions today because we're getting a ton of them.
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Because there's like 1,000 of them.
Okay.
All right. Let's address the best question so you can give out the best answer.
Sure.
We got new membership pricing. Can you just tell everybody what it's going to be?
Well, first of all, we're doing membership pricing because we understand that it's tough times, so we've actually cut our membership pricing by 30%, right? Like everybody, EI, it's like 55 to 70%. So we want to narrow that distance for our members, and as such, our new membership pricing for this online subscription service is going to be $65 every 2 weeks. So that applies to anybody that's on a biweekly membership, but it also applies to anybody new that wants to come into the group. We're not taking on that many because the group is already pretty full, and we're a one-man operation right now with Jen. But the main thing right now for people is accountability, right? There's tons of workouts out there. There's always been free workouts, but the difference right now is who's holding you accountable to getting them done. And that's the main premise behind what's going on in Jen's accountability group. And we're also providing up-to-date meal plans. So one of the biggest problems, so we put out 48-hour detox program, and then we put out the 7-day reboot program, but now things are becoming less and less available, like chicken and fresh produce, right? So I've went and created this brand new meal plan that is like stuff that's on the shelf still, all right? So like canned corns, it's still macro friendly, it's still nutritious, it's still able to boost your immune systems, and so we're going to be releasing that on Wednesday or Thursday. I've already got it done, it's done, but we just want to time it so people can go shopping. So everybody will start the program on Friday, so I'll probably release it on Wednesday. This way you can order your food or go grocery shopping or whatever you need. But so the way that it's going to work for people that have already paid in full is we're going to run this for the next 30 days, right? So if they've already paid in full, they've did 6 months or 5 months or a full year, their rate is already pretty comparable to that rate. And then after 30 days, we're going to reassess as to do we switch everybody over to this membership and put that membership on hold, because this new membership is going to be something that we're looking to do moving forward for our clients, because we understand even after this is all said and done, not everybody's back to earning full wages. Yep. So we want to like, we love what we do, and I'm willing to just get by for some time so that we can make sure that our members are back in the social community, back getting fit. And so the difference between the two memberships, and this is another question that people are asking. Jen, should I go into all this, or what do you think?
Do it. Let everybody know.
So the way that you could have like our membership rates, the new membership rates when we were leaving were $107 every 2 weeks. There's some people that were on our original membership pricing of $99 every 2 weeks, and then some people had the family membership of $89 every 2 weeks. Now, what you got with that was unlimited holds throughout the year, right? So 30 days max, 7 days in between. You also got unlimited sessions. So for the people that get on the wall in like less than a year, well, that's the upsides of what they're getting. Yeah. Now with this new membership, you're going to get up to 5 days a week, which is generally how many workouts you need a week with us in order to get massive results. I would say that would be the perfect amount of number, but there are no holds on this membership, right? It's a bare bones membership. And then so if you get this new membership, you're going to continue forward with that. Now, if you want to go back to the unlimited memberships, but you canceled your family rate or whatever rate that you're on to get you these unlimited memberships, then you'll be put back onto the new unlimited membership, which is going to be $99 biweekly. So if somebody's on this $89 biweekly, I would hold off for 30 days. And then if we're not back up and running, then we'll switch you over to this, like no matter what. Like we'll have a discussion about that. But otherwise, keep that membership rolling, because now you're going to get the unlimited stuff, right?
I think that's very fair what you guys are, or what we're doing over here. Trying to keep everybody accountable, and yes, it is hard. Of course, you can get free workouts online, but you know what? At the end of the day, what I'm realizing, nobody's doing it. You got to have somebody. You still got to have a coach checking in on you, asking you questions, and kind of forcing you to, show us that you're working out.
And it's also the community, right? So
of course,
if you're going to pull yourself out of a community, then now you've just really self-isolated. And they're not recommending self-isolation.
No.
They're recommending social distancing between 1 to 3 meters, or 1 to 2 meters, and for us Canadians, that's 3 to 6 feet, right? So we're 4 feet apart from each other. But as soon as you pull yourself out, first of all, nobody's going to make sure that you're getting your workouts done. So what's going to happen is one day
we're
going to go, yesterday I didn't do my church service. I didn't even realize it was Sunday, right? They went live. But if somebody would have messaged me, hey, RJ, did you watch the church service? I would have, oh, yeah, holy crap, I got to do that right now.
So church is closed. They're just doing it online now?
Everything is online. But now I don't have that time where I'm going to church, right? And I don't go to church 5-6 days a week. Like I go once, right? And so yesterday it was on my plate of things to do on top of family time, workout, work time, all that kind of stuff. But because nobody reminded me, nobody reached out to me, it didn't get done yesterday. So I have to do it today, and I just remembered that right now. So nobody's holding me accountable. It goes on the back burner. Yeah.
Is that the first church service that is now
Second
online?
one.
Second one? So did you see the first one?
I saw the first one.
How is it? Like, I know they're pretty good with the technology and the cameras over there. It must have been a pretty good show.
It's just him doing this right now. He's just sitting there talking. He's got his laptop in front of him.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So he's not all the cameras.
He doesn't have it all fancy. He's just literally him. Yeah. He's got one camera guy, but it's all about that accountability, man. And like now I'm not communicating with any of that community, right? One of the big things of what I like to go to church, I do something spiritual. This morning I was listening to Joel Osteen, right? He's like one of the biggest preachers out there. And, I do stuff every single day, but I'm that's me isolated to myself, right? The big thing I love about going to church is the community. And that's one of the major things why I volunteer there. Like I stand there, I shake hands, right? I open up doors, shake hands. I have small chit chat with people. I like connecting with community. Now that's all completely gone. And so if I didn't have that routine of doing something spiritual every morning, I probably wouldn't do it. Yeah. Right. And that's what's going on in the fitness world right now is like, if you don't have somebody to hold you accountable and you can try and get your friends, you guys get a group together, but that never works. Right. There's always, that never works. Right. It's what you need to do is you need to be paying for it. Yeah. Right. And I'm straight up. You need to be paying for it because this way you're paying attention. Right.
That's a great point. And in fact, I feel like memberships shouldn't be cheap.
Yeah.
And a perfect example is the big box gyms. It's funny how everybody, they come here and be like, oh, you guys are so expensive. I have a membership at Shapes. And then I look and say, well, how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
You have to have that little sense of guilt on your shoulder that says, I'm paying all this money. I need to show up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that you have to do and one of the things that we do right here.
Yes.
But having said that, we are actually reducing the price for you. So we want to make things a little more affordable. Everybody knows that we're going through this issue right now. Yeah. Sometimes money is tight for some. I guess for most, right? But at the end of the day, you got to keep your health up. So we're going to help you with that. Yep. So we have a list of questions that we've been getting hit with. Okay. Let's get into the motivation. So right now, people working out at home, they're saying, I can't get motivated to do a workout at home. Right. What are we telling them? Besides the fact that we're going to keep you accountable, besides the fact that Jen is going to contact you, and you better have an answer that I worked out.
Or you get tagged and called out in the group.
Tagged and called. And we're good at calling out. Like, we have no problem.
Yeah.
Doing that, but what kind of motivation do you have? Like, we're lucky because we have to come here and we're shooting these videos for you guys to watch. Yeah, I guess if I was at home, I think the first thing that I would do with respect to motivation is make sure I have an area set up for this.
Big time.
This is your new gym.
Yeah,
you got to find a spot in your house or wherever you are that you have a TV, or at least you can put your laptop. Yeah, and make sure that this is now your little area. Yes. So get yourself a little mat, maybe get some weights if you can. Even if you have to make it your little home by putting a little plant there or something that says this is my gym. Yeah, I would say that's so preparation is just as important as motivation. Yes. Another thing too is if you can't work out at the same time that we work out every day, which is at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Yeah.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
What time are you doing it, and make sure that it's the same time.
Same time.
That would be one of my suggestions. What do you got, RJ?
So for me, I had to rewrite my daily timestamp. Right. So every morning I get up I'm up at 5, right? So I do 5, and then I do I'm learning something new. Right now I'm figuring out how to do YouTube marketing, right? Because there's a ton of stuff that we're missing out on right now with this live. But I would say that you need to just timestamp everything. So it's like, make it mandatory. If you're working out with us at 7, then you roll out of bed 6:15, right? And you get your coffee, check on what's new in the coronavirus, and then work out with us at 7, and then you just have that complete schedule. That would be it. I like yours where you have your stuff ready. Yeah. Right? So like have your gym shoes, have your workout clothes. Like I just throw right before I go to bed, I throw all my clothes on the floor that I'm wearing for the next day. My stuff doesn't wrinkle, but if I wasn't, it would be on I'd have a coat hanger or something, and everything is prepared for the next day because there's a lot of things that you don't want to do. But if it's convenient for you and it's right there, you're gonna do it. I always have my supplements like on my table. I have all my supplements there. I always have this guy, right? I always have this guy, my water, so I always chug my water. And then my tea is like, you said, why don't you just use tea bags? I'm like, I like to drink my tea as fast as possible. It's one of the things I look forward to in the morning. So I have to use my Keurig, right? And right now our Keurig is done. Now my whole day is ruined. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like that's
adapt.
Yeah,
you got to adapt.
I got to adapt and have it ready and make the hard things as convenient as possible.
Yeah. And then another thing, too, so continue with the motivation. So if you need motivation, it can come as simple as a great song, great playlist. I know one of the things that I find is in the morning, in order to get fired up for a workout. So what I like to do prior to this whole thing is I would get up and I would watch YouTube. It's always some kind of educational thing on YouTube that I'm always looking for. But if I want to really get fired up, I play music, right? And then I start kind of moving around the house a little bit, and that's what I find is to give me a little bit of motivation. And then I get over here, and I've already got the mindset that I'm moving, and I'm already getting a little bit warm.
Yep.
So that's motivation. So motivation comes in all forms. So preparation, motivation, figure out what it is. Another thing that I like to do is to make lists, and I like the fridge list.
Yeah,
the list that goes in the fridge. Write it down. Doesn't have to be high tech, and that list can be whatever you want. So it can be long-term goals. It can be the next day goals. But put it on there, and it's also a good list to have. So when you want to stick your head in that fridge to look for something to eat, it's just a little reminder there that do something else instead. Go for a walk. Actually, I went for a walk yesterday. It was super nice.
Yeah, so did I. It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Later evenings, it's really warm. Like I didn't even realize it. I still thought it was cold outside. We walked outside. I was like, oh, man, this is great.
Yeah.
So it's time to get out.
Well, I think one thing is we got to – and the reason why I like it cold is for people just to deal with their stuff, right? Like yesterday, Nary and I, it's like Jet is just going stir crazy in the house, right? He doesn't nap when he's around us, but when he's at daycare, he naps. Like he has a schedule, and now he doesn't really have a schedule. So – we've had to really, how do we deal with this long term, right? Because who knows, like this is going to be 30. I just said be ready for 30 days. So it's like we created a list of all the things that I want to do with the family, and just like every day I'm going to check one off, and like that's huge, right? So let's give a hello. So Jen King says hello, boys, and guys, if you have any questions or comments, post them in here. I got this streaming live right now. So good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Joanne. What else we got, Rick?
Where are these workouts?
Oh, yes.
We got a lot of questions on how do I find these workouts? How do I find the podcast? So let's just clarify that for everybody.
Okay, so we're gonna simplify our feed, and we're gonna stop posting a lot of the stuff that we normally have scheduled to post. So like, Nary's Kitchen, we might just film it live. Everything is probably going to be live moving forward. But if you want to go to www.fitclub.fit, it takes a little bit of time for it to load up onto your phone. Right? Even on my laptop, it loads up live, and then you just got to scroll, and you'll find the workout. So we'll keep it to 3 posts a day because I'm seeing that that's what the feed only allows. So you just scroll to www.fitclub.fit, and then scroll, and we'll always just have 3 max. And as you scroll down, you'll see the workout will be there until tomorrow.
And what about the fan page?
The fan page, you can go to Fit Club North Winnipeg, just like right now, and it's live there.
Yeah, so those are 2 places that you can get it, right?
Yeah, so Fit Club North Winnipeg on Facebook, or if you don't have Facebook, then you can just go to www.fitclub.fit, and everything is archived there as well.
So social media, let's talk about that and how it can benefit you in your fitness journey. A lot of people hate posting pictures of themselves. They hate putting a story, and I get it. I mean, I used to be like that too. That's that dinosaur mentality that I was talking about yesterday. And a lot of people just don't want to show their life, right?
Yeah.
They want to be private. Having said that, you got to remember that if you're a content consumer, I feel like it's kind of an obligation that you should give a little bit back. You know what I mean? Don't just consume, but give us something, because we want to see what your life is too. And I'll give you a perfect example, my mother, okay? So my mother lives in Calgary, and she walks dogs, and she takes care of people's homes. She takes care of everybody, but she focuses on that. And I said, Mom, why don't you show some pictures? Like, people love dogs, you know? And she's like, why would anybody want to see my life? this was her attitude, right? This is what she said. And I said, well, it's amazing. A lot of people actually do. You know, you just don't think so. And her social media, now that she takes pictures, and every once in a while she shoots a video on her stories, and it blows up. Every time she showed me, she's like, look at all the people that are watching. So people are interested. We shouldn't look at it as a bad way. But from a point of accountability, one of the good things that you can do, just like we were talking about, is put it out there on, let's say, Facebook and say, here's 5 things that I want to accomplish in the next week.
Right.
Hold me accountable, FitFam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it.
And then come back to it, right? Like
Yeah.
I loved your post there the other day. And for me, I always look at people's, what are people's goals? And then I look at how can I contribute to that, right? So my thing is I hold people, I love holding people accountable to that, right? Because I'm the same way. Yep. And that's why we create lists. We have Airtable. It's like, hey, we can't just talk about it. You have to write it down, and then we're going to follow up with you every single day until you get it done.
Yeah. Those lists, I feel like lists are super important.
Oh, yeah, huge.
Like written down or put in your computer or somewhere that you're looking for.
Yeah, every day.
A lot of people are always sore.
Yes.
This is actually something I'm dealing with right now. How do we advise them on how to... So here, warm-ups and cool-downs and stretches, probably one of the most effective ways, right? And one of the things that we're going to be implementing is a longer stretch. Yes. I think that's good. That's good. You know, when we do our workouts regularly in-house, we're on a time schedule. We only got 2 minutes to take you through it. We do actually have an expectation that you're going to go and do a little bit more. That's why we kind of show you and teach you. But besides the stretch, what else can we do? What else can we do at home? What are some home remedies to get over the soreness?
I know we've heard this multiple times, but water is your cure for the majority of this, okay? So basically when you work out or whenever you move, your muscles, they rub against each other, okay? And what ends up happening is water provides lubrication between your muscles. So if they're constantly rubbing together, you know, do this with your hands how many times, eventually you're going to get super raw, and that's basically what's causing a lot of that muscle soreness. That's number one. Number two is, like, even off camera, I always have, like, the stretching routine that I put you guys through yesterday is almost exactly what I do every single morning regardless. And then after a hard workout, I do that workout or I do that stretch at some point in time during the day. I'm usually tucked away at the side doing like an extra one. And then supplements. So supplements that I take is fish oils. Again, it's an anti-inflammatory. It provides lubrication for your joints, right? And it also helps with your heart health. The tissue rejuvenator, that's another wicked supplement. I got 3 bottles here at North. That's another one that is an anti-inflammatory, provides lubrication into the joints and helps rebuild all your, like, collagen and cartilage and all that kind of stuff. And then like your nutrition, right? So if you're consuming a ton of inflammatory foods like breads, pasta, if you're, you know, a lot of artificial sweeteners, right? All of those things, they cause, they're basically working against your body's ability to recover. And right now, like you're talking about immunities, well, if you're putting in a lot of junk food, fried foods, right? Like you're still going for McDonald's runs and you're still consuming 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and then you're drinking BCAAs and pre-workouts and all that other stuff, then your body, you're working against your body, right? So instead of putting alkaline foods like water, lemons, green vegetables, you're putting all these things in that they cause inflammatory. And so you're trying to recover, but at the same time, you're putting in the improper nutrition. It's like putting oil in your gas tank.
Right. So I think nutrition. So we can stretch and we can warm up all we want, but at the end of the day, over the long term, what you're putting on the inside of your body, the inflammatory foods is probably one of the biggest things. Eh?
It's one of the biggest things, but I don't know. I think it's all a part of the process, right? And this is a great time for us to really build into our nutrition. And I know people are like, I'm not worried about nutrition. You're going to worry about nutrition.
You have to worry about
Give it another 3 days, and you're going to realize that eating popcorn and eating chips and all that kind of stuff is going to catch up to you. So it's like, take this time to really clean it up and start building up some habits because you got time, right? So it could be just add a cup of broccoli to your food. You know, just do that. Start there. Make it super simple. Add a cup of broccoli. You don't have to go full-born, like, you know, vegetables and vegan and all this and that. You can... Everything is in moderation, right? And if the world were to end, then all those vegan foods, they're going to be the first one that are going to get cut. You know what I mean? Like, so
I feel like you don't necessarily need to be. You don't have to follow this exact diet that has an exact label because then you become one of those people. And you know what I mean? And then people are kind of working against you. Like, I don't know. I guess I practice flexible nutrition. So sometimes
flexible dieting. Yeah.
Flexible dieting. Yeah, like sometimes I'll eat meat, and sometimes I'm eating tofu. 'Cause that's what the wife. I like salads. You know, believe it or not, my favorite thing, and this is when I was in Mexico, is a salad that has all the nuts and the avocados and raisins with shrimp. I love that. That was so good. And one of the things that I would always recommend with respect to gut health, and it works for me, maybe not for everybody, but if you can always put a salad into your body at least once a day. Greens, yeah. For me, it's salad. I like to eat it as a salad. You might like to eat it just as a cup of broccoli or whatever, but anything green into your body, if you can do that, it really helps with the digestion, gives you those perfect poops.
Yeah, perfect poops.
Let's talk about the 50% rule, or let me talk about it because I feel like that's a great surefire way of incrementally getting towards your goals. And I know you think it's a good idea too. So I talked about it the other day on taking whatever it is that you're doing and that you want to change and doing it at the 50% rule. So let's say water. We're just talking about water. How do you drink more water? Well, let's say that you're drinking 1 bottle of water a day. Your goal tomorrow is going to be to drink 2. And then maintain that for 1 week. And then in 1 week, you're going to go from 2 to 4, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, that can work on the other way as well, is let's say that you just can't stop eating those potato chips at night. And you know it's almost like an addiction. So instead of eating a whole bag, you eat half a bag, right?
Or portion it off.
Portion it off. Like just always incrementally go half until you get to the point where you want to be. And then it's not going to be such a drain on your system. Or it's not going to be a shock to your system, I should say, not a drain. And you'll actually be successful because we all know going cold turkey with anything like that, it's a pretty much a losing proposition.
Especially right now, the temptation, right? So we're talking about drawing yourself out of being in temptation, right? So like if you're a big drinker and you're going to the bar, you know, you're more likely going to be drinking liquor, right? But if you're trying to cut it out, that's, you know, how can you be around a bunch of drinkers and not drink? Now we're around the cupboards all day, right? And I see people are really taking this like to that next level where they're not leaving their house, right? So it's like if you're not leaving your house and your cupboards are stocked up with all those treats, how are you going to fight those? You know, willpower only lasts for so long. Motivation only lasts for so long before you need to start building up some immunities to this and building up habits. And the number one thing is using MyFitnessPal. So I'm a big flexible dieter guy, meaning that I'll usually it depending on what I want to look like, right? So it's like, and you're gonna fluctuate between not being where you're super comfortable with, you know, for guys taking our shirts off, right? For women showing skin kind of thing. And then you're going to go back, right? There's just always going to be that period of, this is like the longevity, just understanding that that's going to happen. Christmas, you expected to take your shirt off around Christmas? Probably not, right? So the way that MyFitnessPal is, and I know we talked about this yesterday, is you need to figure out what your caloric burn is for the day. And then just track the food that you're in. Like with MyFitnessPal, you can scan a barcode and it'll pop up with like what the calories are, and then you just eat around that. And you do it if you do it for 7 days straight using MyFitnessPal, then you'll have a better understanding because we tend to eat the same foods all the time, right?
Well, you certainly will, and that's one of the challenges with MyFitnessPal is we have this tendency as humans to want to have so much variety with what we want to do. Like, heaven forbid you should just eat the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days straight. Like, even for 2 days, you always want to have, you know, Italian and pasta on Monday, and then you want to have chicken on Tuesday, and you want to have steak on Wednesday, and you want to have something else. One of the ways to get successful with respect to your nutrition is to start to simplify your food. And there's a spin-off to a lot of that. Like, not only is it going to be a lot easier to cook and meal prep because you just make a lot of it and then you portion it and you eat it, but for the sake of shopping and money, you don't have to go out and buy so many different things because you know you got to go to Sobeys to get this, and then you got to go to Safeway to get that. And Superstore has the best shrimp. Just you know, simplify everything, and I promise you're going to be a lot more successful that way. And of course, meal prepping. If you ain't meal prepping, I feel like that's probably the number one thing that you need to do. Start learning to eat out of containers. You don't have to have a fancy meal. You don't have to sit for 1 hour every day. Just grab it, nuke it, fuel it, and keep going. You know, that's how you'll get that time back that we all don't seem to have. So we get a lot of questions about, and let's just continue on with the nutrition. So we get a lot of people that say, I work out, but I can't lose the weight. So we know it's the nutrition. It's always the nutrition, right? You can't outwork a bad diet.
That's right.
I actually had one of our members, I guess I won't say her name. It's not a bad thing. Anyways, she comes in, she's a promo person, right? So she likes to come in and do 21 days, or maybe she does 30 days. And what I noticed is she just has a very unrealistic expectation of how that's supposed to work. So she wants to come in, work out for 30 days, and then you think you're going to lose X amount of pounds or whatever it is. The problem is, and that's okay because it's okay to start like that. Hopefully, eventually it'll turn into a habit. But when I was talking to her, she said, what do I have to do? Why can't I lose any weight? I'm working out all the time. And she was doing triples and quads, I think.
Yeah.
And when I broke down her diet, nothing changed. It was the same thing, you know. And she's Eastern European, so you know the pierogies and the cabbage rolls. This is like a staple.
High dense foods.
They don't know how to eat any different.
Yeah.
So I gave her some suggestions, and I just feel that if you have never taken a minute to understand nutrition, and if you really want to make changes, you've got to start being prepared to try different foods.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where the Fitness Pal comes in.
Yep.
And what I would suggest is Neri's Kitchen. So Neri's Kitchen is one of the episodes that we shoot, and Neri's always putting together some really good, nutritious food that can be meal prepped.
Yep.
So everything is within mind that we're going to put it into containers, and we're going to probably eat it 1 or 2 days. What's next on Neri's Kitchen? What should we?
Well, you know what we're gonna read and react. So I'm gonna give her some of the meals that are in this 7-day immunity boost plan, and it's gonna be simplified eating, just simplified eating because a lot of stuff's not really available on the shelves anymore. So how can we still have a nutritious meal that is macro friendly, that is easy to make, right?
What do you like? I like Spartan stew.
Yeah, I've been eating Spartan stew. I that's what we had yesterday, and so perfect point. So Spartan stew is basically a smorgy of everything, right? Like it's got I think Neri uses ground chicken, and then it's just tons of vegetables in there, right? And
lots of beans,
beans, all different stuff, corn. Like she puts a bunch of things in there, right? And so yesterday I made it flexible by putting a tablespoon of sour cream. Like I love sour cream, right? I'm half Ukrainian for those people that don't know. So I can eat
Believe it or not.
I could eat that stuff by the liter.
Yeah.
And then I took some crispy wonton, like those little, like I don't know what they're called, but they're just like a noodle type of thing that's dried.
Like little topping?
Yeah, a little topping. I just put it on there, and I was like, okay, like this is, I don't need to go and have a big pile of bread with this. I don't need to, right? And so that answered a lot of like what it is that I want. And I had 2 of those meals, right?
I like to melt a little bit of cheese on it, and you can get those deep-fried onion salad toppers. So it gives you a little bit of the cheesiness, and then it gives you a little bit of a crunch. But it's a very filling. So if you like chili, if you like that sense of like a hearty meal that you can eat with a spoon out of a bowl, Spartan stew is really good for that. We should probably share that recipe somehow. It's a good one.
Yeah.
So let's get back to another one. This is one that I've heard many times. It relates to different parts of the body, but we'll be specific. So 19 years ago, I hurt my back in a car accident. So I can't do a deadlift or a squat. I can't bend over.
Okay.
When people ask us this question or when they make this suggestion, the first thing that I think about is the I can't and I won't mentality, right? After a certain length of time, and I understand that the doctor has told you, and I understand that it might even hurt, but I also firmly believe that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
You know, so one of the things that I always suggest people when they hit me with that is we got to try, and then we're going to modify, right?
Yeah.
There's always a different angle, a different way that you can do each and every exercise. And one of the things that I would always tell people is don't say I can't. Don't say I won't. Like, your coaches are here for a reason. We're here for a reason. We've done it. We know how to modify this. We can make it easier for you. But don't let your mind stop you from doing it. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things, and when people say that to me, I do get frustrated. But I can obviously change it, right? You got to ask yourself, okay, like I can't do any shoulder stuff. Well, it's like, well, you just did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, did you not reach up in the cupboards and grab a cup of coffee today? Or people are like, I can't squat. I'm like, well, how'd you get here today? You drove. So unless you're like going upstairs to sit down, then I believe that you can squat. And you're right. Like if you come in with that mentality, you can't. One of the big issues is people go and see a physician, and the physician tells them that they can't work out for 3 weeks because they sprained their finger. You know what I mean? Like, you can't work out for 3 weeks because you sprain your finger. Why can't you do lower body? Why can't you do abs? Why can't we just not use that finger to grasp, right? Or the other one, another big one is like I've got disc narrowing, right? Like I've got early stages of arthritis in my spine. It's like Everybody has that. If you're standing up, your spine is being compressed, and as such, you're getting that narrowing. Everybody's getting narrowing of the discs. Now, here's the difference between what you're doing by avoiding everything and versus doing it is that the only way things grow, like you said, you don't use it, you lose it. Well, the only way that they're going to get stronger is if you actually utilize it. Now, the biggest problem is that when people come to the gym, they're trying to lose 10 pounds in 10 seconds, right? And so what's the answer, right? I remember I was working out with this new girl one day. I was coaching her, and I was like, okay, like, what workout is this? I asked her what, because she was going really hard, lifting really heavy weights and improper form and everything. I said, let's have a chat here, like during the middle of a session. I was like, how many workouts have you done already? She's like, oh, this is my second day. And I'm like, your second day? When was your last workout? She's like, I've never worked out in my life. I'm like, okay, don't touch. Like, what are you doing? We have 110-pound kettlebells. Yeah. And she goes and grabs it, and she's trying to pick it up. I'm like, you don't need to lift heavy and improperly to lose the weight. Like, this is a journey. This is a lifelong journey, not a 21-day challenge. We use those to get people into the door so that they can start to enjoy fitness and really get a feel of what we have to offer here. But your first 21 days are just building a habit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You're going to notice weight loss success after 6 weeks. You're going to see changes after 12. You're going to see permanent changes after 12 months. Right? But 12 months, now you've just created a new shape of yourself. Yeah. Right? But in those meantimes, there's so many habits that you've got to overcome. Number one, being lazy habit. Right? So it's like, are you getting unlazy now? That's the key thing. The second habit is, what about adapting all your bad habits outside of this, right? It's like, it's shocking to me that people still smoke that come to where I smell it on them, right? Did you just have a big-ass cigarette?
I know, that's actually,
right?
I don't judge people for their addictions, believe me. I've had many in my life, but who still smokes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Who still smokes? And then to have the wherewithal to come into a facility and do something where you're getting your heart rate up, you know, like, I don't want to ever judge people, but there's two things that I've got a strong opinion about now, and that is smoking cigarettes and more so alcohol. And I know I'm going to get some blowback on this because people love their wine. And I know Jen King's in here. I know Jen King, wine isn't a replacement for water. Yeah. All you West St. Paul ladies, I know you're always asking me that question. Even the white wine, just because it's white, right?
Yeah. Nothing will crush your goals more than drinking.
It's just, how
like
do you recover?
You're better off just to go sit at McDonald's for a little while and sip on milkshakes versus like sitting at home with a box of wine. Yeah. And I'm not saying don't have it, whatever, if that's whatever you need to get you through. Yeah. But just understand that it is setting your goals back, right? So if you want to get, you want to drop 10, 15 pounds, then you've got to go military style with your goals, right? Like, you need to put on the blinders. And that's why I love these 6-week challenge, because you put on blinders for 6 weeks and you say, you know what? All that other stuff can wait, right? I'm going to really just get lean, get mean, and I'm going to stay focused. But as soon as you start to like with one small habit, right? And they say don't start even a small habit that can turn into a big thing, right? Just because you're bored at home doesn't mean that you should go and do a rail or something. You know what I mean? Like, don't start a habit that you're going to have a hard time getting out of. And the same thing goes with like high processed foods, right? If you weren't eating those types of foods before, don't start it. Or if you're trying to get rid of them, don't even like give yourself that little bit of flexibility unless you understand, like, hey, this is part of the process, right? So it's like we talk about having a little bit of flexibility. If you want to have a 200-calorie cheat every single day because you did your workouts, right? So they kind of balance each other out, but that's all you get, right? So it's like if you have, let's say you go and have a handful of popcorn at the end of the night. Well, it's like during the day, you better have cut out one of those other little treats that you're having. Yeah. So for me, if I want to have popcorn at night, that means my Spartan stew doesn't have those crispy wontons in it. Right? You always talk about balance. Well, that's how you balance. If you're going to add a treat, you need to remove a treat from somewhere else.
You can't have everything.
You can't have it all. No.
And you got to be active, right? You got to earn it. That's why we even on our TV screen with that glass of wine said, "Did you earn this today? Like, did you legitimately get out there and earn it today? Because you don't just get to have it because you want it, right?" Getting back, you were talking about how you have members. So I was talking about how some members say, "I can't, I won't," and then you have the members that come in and they do too much. Yeah. Right? So this is the balance that we as coaches have to do. But I wanted to talk about the "I can't" mentality. So one of the things that I feel like a lot of people could do is take some take some inventory of your injuries. Let's just do that. Because a lot of people, they hit us with the I can'ts right when we're doing a class, right? And now's a good time for us to really nail down. So you can communicate with your coaches, especially Jen, and say, here's 2 or 3 things that have always bothered me. I can't really do it. And moving forward, even in our workouts, we're going to start throwing a little more modifications. So now that we have more bodies, one person can do the dynamic way, one person can do the modified way, the other person can do the way that if you can't bend your knees. So we're going to give you options. We're going to teach you how to do this. But I would encourage everybody to figure out what it is that bothers them, and then because it's going to be the wrists, the hips, the knees, the ankles, right? Those are the top 4. So if we can figure out how to minimize your risk but still keep you moving, I feel like that's something that we should all be striving for. So let your coaches know, let your accountability coach know, and then we can help you with that moving forward. So when we do get back onto the blue, you already know what you're doing. So there's no more I can'ts, no more I won'ts.
So they can even be proactive with it as well, right? Like if you have a knee issue, everybody's Googling COVID-19 right now.
Yeah.
Like use your Google skills now and start to look at like, well, how can my knee hurts, right? My knee hurts. What can I do? Just start there and then just follow that and just learn about your injuries. This way you can be proactive with it, right? Like if we get sick, what's the first thing we do? We go to the doctors, or we're Googling like how to get sick. So it's like all these little problems that you're facing. Be proactive with yourself. This way, the best situation for us is that you come to the workout and we give you an awesome workout, and then like the rest is all gravy. Like your nutrition's taken care of, your injuries are taken care of, right? Like all that stuff. We provide support for all that, but I mean, if we can just come in and just deliver an awesome workout, and then how do we enhance that experience? That would be like an ideal situation for us.
And there's the value for your membership, right? So, a lot of people, like I said before, they come in with their $20 big box membership, but what are you getting for that?
Nothing.
You get to walk in that door.
Yeah.
That's it.
You rent equipment for that day.
You're allowed to walk in the door, and some of them are even caged now, so you get to physically walk through some kind of a cage barrier, and after that, you're on your own.
Yeah.
You find your own equipment. You find how do you work out?
Yeah.
What if you don't know? How do you get
don't.
motivated?
And that's the thing is like I know that they've been offering personal trainers and they have group training sessions, and the difference between like let's say something like this, what we're doing here, and then something like what they're doing over there is that when that coach comes there, they're checking in, they're checking out, right? And there is no sense of like accountability or community. Like they don't know your name, first of all, right? Like they're not being paid to do that. Number 2 is that when you walk in there and you do like, let's say, I go to the gym every single day, but you're going to just take the path of least resistance, right? So you're going to do the things that you're already doing. And a friend of mine is a bodybuilding coach, and he made a post about some of the stuff of what bodybuilders should be doing during this time. Bodybuilders aren't lifting heavy weights right now, right? Unless they know a guy, they can get into the gym and he's doing it secretly. Like all the heavy lifting is closed, right? And so the bodybuilders now have to like not do what they're comfortable with and keep their body active, right? So I'm challenging these guys that that are all about the heavy lift meatheads, right?
Yep.
To do a HIIT training, right? Challenge your body. Start to work on those like fine muscles, and they got to understand that these things all contributed to the greater cause. Meaning, like all that heavy lifting. I know guys that they go to the gym, right? And they don't. I don't talk to those guys anymore. But I talked to a guy and he's like, oh, I want to go in and lift and do chest, and they're trying to desire a lean
workouts.
Yeah, they're trying to desire a lean athletic body.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, that's going to take you 3 to 5 years of doing that every single day, plus the enhanced nutrition, where it's like, come to Fit Club, do one of our workouts, give us the same time frame, and tell me where you get the better results, right? Because we're pushing you out of your comfort zone. You go to the gym, you do go to those big box $10 a month, you're just going to go right to the treadmill, walk in the treadmill.
Always a treadmill. That's all anybody knows how to do.
Or do the thing, right? Like I got friends that do that, and I'm just looking at them and I cringe. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's your $20 a month experience.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like I said, so when you come here, it's more, but think about all the things that you get right from the time you walk through that door. Somebody's saying your name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
important.
Yeah.
Somebody's probably a coach.
Yeah, you don't just scan a card. Beep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somebody's probably giving you 17 high fives.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not now. We're social distancing, but,
Yeah.
Moving forward, you're feeling the energy from the coach because you're watching the class that's going on right now. Great music because we focus on making sure the music is good.
Yeah.
You probably have already made friends here, which means somebody's asking you about your day.
Yep.
You probably already forgot about your job that you hate or your kids that have been bothering you. and you haven't even started your workout yet, you know? And then all you have to do is get on that floor, right? You bring the right attitude, and we take you through your whole workout. It's you don't even have to think about it. And then 30 minutes later, you don't even know what happened, and you're back in your car driving home again. Like, that's what you're paying for. Otherwise, you have to figure out how to do this on your own when you walk
with
into
nobody
the gym.
there to watch over you.
Nah, man. And, you know, I remember everybody has always had a big box membership. I feel like it's just sort of a rite of passage that you got to have it. You never use it. You pay for it for the rest of your life. You can't cancel that membership even if you tried. You know what I mean? But they're just ineffective. They really are. And getting back to your whole bro workout thing, sure, there's people who want that look. And I get it, especially as a young guy. I'm not going to speak from the female perspective on this, but as a young guy, what do we want? We want big chest, big arms. We probably neglect our legs. You know what I mean? But as we get older, functional movement, especially for me, and I feel like most people at a certain age should start focusing on that. But the overall look is really good, like being nice and lean and
athletic.
You know, that waist. If you can reduce your waist, it looks.
Today
really
we were
nice,
doing sprints out here with Carlos, and there, you know, I'm thinking about the times right now, and as we were walking by this woman, and we just made a joke. Hey, we're just getting ready for the end of the world kind of thing, and she's like, yeah, this older woman. She's like, the weak will be the first one to be killed off. She said that, and I'm like, well, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm athletic, but what happens in 30 or 40 years if this comes around again? I'm going to be one of those weak, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be the first one that's going to be killed off. So I'm like, my mission is to grow old, but still be a beast. You know what I mean? Like, I still want to be athletic. I still want to be strong. And so the one thing that I miss with all of, like, you know, we're doing a ton of body weight workouts because we're really trying to cater to everybody out there that doesn't have anything, right? Like, they don't have dumbbells. They don't have the machines. Like, I'd love to just post a workout here where we're using the cable machines, right? Like, if you have one piece of equipment at home,
nobody has that.
It should either be dumbbells or those cable machines. So that's why today I'm going to do a live, just like a heavy lift, right? Like, just one set of heavier dumbbells that you can do, and I'm going to do that all week because I do miss the strength component, right? Like, that's why with Fit Club we've got dumbbells all the way from 5 to 95s, and we've got double sets of everything because we do incorporate a lot of the strength. It's one of the components. There isn't a right or wrong way to train, but in order for you to be that, and this is our crowd, the people that want to be able to do anything, meaning if you wanted to go and play sports, right? If you wanted to jump back and start playing softball again, you're able to do it, right? You're going to be sore for a couple days, but you'd still hit a home run, right? If I want to go back and play touch football, then I'll still score touchdowns, right? If I want to look good on the beach, I want to have that too. If I want to go for a run with my wife, then I want to be able to do that too. And that's kind of where we're at with our lives right now. And so you have to have the high-intensity component because that's what keeps you explosive. You have to throw in that sport component too because that's a different training. So high intensity to me is like battle ropes and burpees. And then you got your sport movements, which is like a depth jump, or you like to jump over things, right? That's your explosiveness. You need to maintain that. That'll be the first thing that you'll lose as you get older. You need to continue to maintain your strength component. So you have to lift heavier things than your body is used to lifting, right? And then you have to do your flexibility and cardio. Like, those are all like the 5 staples of any program. And so what we do here at Fit Club is we make sure that each one of those elements are hit almost every single day. And so that's the only way that you're going to be able to stay a warrior into your 60s and 70s. That's the only way you're going to be a warrior. Whereas when I know people that as they get older, they're like, oh, I can't do that. I'm going to get hurt. And I can't, right? I won't. I can't. And then they just like do walks. And like that's just enough to just keep you alive. Right? But if you get hit with something, let's say like a slip, right? A lot of people slip and then they fall, and then, you know, next thing you know, they need a hip replacement, right?
That's a great point, is the functional movement. And that was actually what I was just going to say is, you know, you want to talk about getting it back into sports or doing something like that. That's great for some. But some people are at an age where they're not necessarily going back to sports. But you have to start worrying about, you know, we live in Canada. It's icy here. If you slip and fall, you shouldn't break a hip. You shouldn't break.
You shouldn't even fall.
Like, even if you do, you should generally be, you know, bendy enough, I guess, to not be just a flat mass that hits, and then you're going to be breaking bones. And I feel like just even that example itself is probably one of the most important, because how many people do you know that have fallen, slipped, and broken something? I know tons. Lots of them have. You know, even young guys. My cousin who's just a little younger than me. He was running, fell, and ended up smashing his whole arm when he kind of tripped over himself.
Yeah.
But I just thought, you know what, you should have been able to sort of maybe roll out of it. And, you know, if
you should have the density.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you should have some muscle mass and you should be
Yeah.
okay. But if you're just very solid because you have a lot of body fat, you're going to hit things very hard.
Yeah.
And when you hit things very hard, bones are going to break.
Looking good is the bonus, right?
Yeah,
if
of
you can
course.
be super functional and fit and look phenomenal, then you've just got it all, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we want to strive for.
And you look at elderly people, and a lot of them, they have that you know, like where their posture is very bad, like your back starts to get rounded, or they have hands that maybe do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you don't focus on your muscle mass anymore. So that's when that osteoporosis you know, kicks in. I think it's very important. So, and you don't need to be any age, like on the young side, to lift weights. You can lift weights at every age, and you should
100%.
always focus on that muscle mass.
And it's
always
never too late. Like you can progress. Like let's say somebody has an injury, right? The only way that things recover and repair is through consistent stimulus, right? So like if you have a bicep injury and you can't even move your arm, well, the first thing you're going to do is just try and get that full range of motion. Then you're going to start to build up some strength. So you might be lifting 1-pounders, and then you go to 3, and then you go to 5, and then you go to, you know what I mean? Like you progressively, and everybody, doesn't matter what the age, can start anywhere.
Yeah. Like
right?
let's go back to Pat.
Yeah.
72 in the blue. You know, she inspires everybody. She's she went from being somebody who really had so many issues to deal with, and now she's out there. She modifies, but she looks great. Let's talk. You know, Allison. What's Ashley's mom's name? Allison.
Kauk.
Ashley Golly, her mom. Allison, right?
Long.
Yep. When she came in, she was like she doesn't suffer from being heavy. She suffers from being ultra skinny. And I remember before she came in, and she was very, and I'm not trying to disrespect you, but like very feeble. You know, and like you couldn't really do too much. I didn't want to put too much weight in her hand. And then she started not training in the afternoon. She went to the morning. So I didn't see her for months.
Yeah.
And then I came, I don't know, I ran into her and saw her work out, and I was like, this is a completely different woman. She was very assertive with the weights, and you could see that she was really going at it, and she looks phenomenal. Like, so the weights are, in my opinion, are a game changer, right?
Yeah,
so you want to focus on that muscle mass, that visceral fat with your nutrition.
Yeah.
And once your body fat goes down, that's when you really start to look good, right? So, you know, we got to change the priority from just weight.
So I think we answered all the questions.
Yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. I can't stop snacking.
Okay.
Everybody's problem.
Yeah.
What are 3 things that we can snack on other than chips?
Oh, other things. So the way to get over the snacking,
we got to snack.
The way to get over the snacking is if you're at home, it's easier to, so intermittent fasting. Everybody needs to do this. So we're doing the 8 to 12 right now, right? We're doing it 8 to 12. And so I'm telling everybody to try and push your first meal as far back as possible. It's easier to push your meals back later than it is to stop eating, right? Because as soon as you start eating, then like it now kicks in a bunch of hormones, your blood sugars, so it's gonna like dip up and down, and so you're just gonna like continue to eat. Yeah. So I would say if you can push your fast back longer than normal, like if you can go to 12, that's perfect. But I'd like, you know, I'm gonna go till at least probably 3 today, and then I'm gonna stop eating at around 6, right? So 3 hours. And I would say that would be number 1. So what else can you snack on?
What about those little fiber gummies that you? I think those are pretty good. Do you know the name of it?
Yeah, they're called Sweet Escapes.
Sweet Escapes.
Sweet Escapes. No, we don't have any.
We don't have any?
I ate them all.
The flavor is just super good. Like they're better than anything.
So I tried the AmRamp coconut pineapple BCAs yesterday. Mamma mia! It was so good. Hey, Fabio. So yeah, it was so good. Like I would have even just put that in a blender, maybe with an avocado, maybe just like a scoop of vanilla protein or something, or even just that in ice. And honestly, I was like daiquiri. Yeah, like it just drinking it by itself. So I had 2 servings yesterday. That's what helps me to prevent the late night snacking. Protein powders, right? Like I love the vegan protein powder, the caramel one. It tastes literally like I don't know, like salted caramel. So I would say protein powders. I would go to the powders first, so like BCAs because it doesn't have any calories. Then I would go to the protein powders because most people are lacking protein as it is, and there's so many different flavors, right? Like now is like a time to stock up on those. And then what other snacks? Yeah, like those fiber. Yeah, so what I do is, you know, those multivitamins. So they have like the candy multivitamins. Yeah. That's what I've been That's what I've been eating.
Here's another one. Slice up apples and sweet potato, nice and thin.
Yeah.
Cook it slow in the oven. Put a little cinnamon on there.
Apples.
Apples.
Cook apples?
Cook it. Or dry the apple. Yeah,
Okay.
you're cooking them.
Okay.
You're baking them, basically.
Yeah.
So you're trying to dry them out.
Yeah.
If you can nail it, you get a nice little crunch, and it's healthy for you. So anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
I'm going to leave you with this. Attitude, attitude, attitude. It makes all the difference in the world. We'll see you tomorrow on our next podcast.